Here's a little preview of what's to come in my garage. Look at this beautiful hunk of tire. This is a Dunlop American Elite motorcycle tire. It's for the rear of my Sportster. This is a new rubber compound, a new design. The center of the tire is a harder compound for long miles, and the outer edge of the tire is softer for better cornering. The tire that I have now is kind of the good old standby. It's the Dunlop tire that the Harley Sportster came with in 2007. Of course, it's not the original one, but this one is coming up on 10,000 miles, and I've only got a little bit of tread left, so it's time for a change. So I decided to do this myself. 3 weeks ago, I had the American Elite tire installed on the front of the bike by the dealer when I got my bike inspected. Because that one was worn down. And, you know, they charge almost $100 labor to do this. And it's something that I'm probably going to have to do every year at the rate I'm riding. So I decided it's time to step it up, you know. So what do I need? I need a 1 1/8 inch socket for that nut there. And that's the only thing I don't have. These 4x4s that the tire is sitting on will be needed when I do the tire irons to get it off. So I got myself a set of Bike Master tire irons specifically for motorcycles, and a little set of these rim protectors. You put these on so you don't destroy the chrome rim. What else will this job require? The motorcycle lift, of course, the motorcycle, an air compressor, and a few miscellaneous things, but in pretty good shape. So I took a look at things today. It's pretty easy to get the wheel off of the bike, drain the air out of the tire, and then the fun begins. The other thing is you have to break the bead on the tire, and there's a lot of different ways, creatively, that people have come up with to do that. And it occurred to me that I had these old C-clamps. As you can see, they're pretty big. And I thought, gee, I wonder if I could use a C-clamp to break a tire bead. Well, it turns out you can. Somebody figured out a way to do it, so that'll be interesting too. So in doing this myself, I should save, I don't know, $100. If you just take the wheel off and take it somewhere, that's $35 to have it done. But I just like the idea of doing this kind of thing myself, and I'm probably going to be doing it every year, like I said. So anyway, stay tuned. I said I was going to make a video on how to do this, but actually not. This is not a how-to video. There are plenty of how-to videos online already by people who know what they're doing. This is the first time I'm doing this, so I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of taking my time here. So this is more kind of a, hey, this is what I did so far thing, and just using my cell phone. Anyway, as you can see, the back tire is off. Very simple. Jack up the bike. This is the rear axle, quite a big beast. Large spacer on the muffler side, small spacer on the brake side, and a washer and a nut. That'll need to get cleaned up and a fresh coat of anti-seize put on it when we're done. As far as getting the wheel off, after you take that out, tap it with the mallet, as you can see on the floor there. You pull out the axle. I used my floor jack to just give some leverage to the wheel. Slid it forward a little. There's no need to do anything with these, which are what is used to position the axle and the wheel and to align it so it's going straight down the road. Really nice design. So when I put this back on and put these back in the position that they were in, the wheel will be centered. The belt will have the correct tension. We'll be good to go. The other thing that I'm doing right at the moment, which I learned online, is to put these tires out in the sun, and it's a nice 85-degree day. And that's supposed to warm the rubber up and allow them to be a little easier to work with. So right now I have the old one. I took out the valve stem already, so the air's drained out. Next thing I'm going to do is get my C-clamps and get those into position so I can break the bead. Wish I could take credit for this, but I can't. Somebody else came up with this. It's pretty simple, at least it's supposed to be. So as you can see, I get the two C-clamps on here. I'm not hitting the rim. On the other side, we're using this board to press against the rim on the back.
And as we tighten the C-clamp, the idea is to break the bead. So let's see how it works. That was really easy. I mean, it took literally like not even 30 seconds. I have eye protection and gloves on, by the way. Be safe. So just tighten down that clamp, and just like that, it fell right off the bead. So now I'm going to turn the tire over and do the other side. Right, well, the bead is broken on both sides. It's very simple to do. Nothing to see here. The tire's hot. I'm hot. It's about 85 degrees, like I said. So I'm just going to get the tire irons. This is basically just going to be brute force. It's probably more technique to it, but I've never done it before. No point sitting recording me struggling with it for however long it takes, but here we go. All right, one side's off. Took about 5 to 7 minutes. Do the other now. Like I said, sorry, it's not a how-to video. It's just me doing a little progress as I go. I just wanted to mention I used Ride-On tire sealant in my tire, and if you're wondering what it looks like inside the tire, there it is. It's really not as thick as I thought it would be, but you know, this stuff works. And it really is not a big mess at all. I mean, there might be a drip or two that you can see on this cardboard, but that's it. I mean, it really was inconsequential. We are in the home stretch. If I'm breathing heavy, it's because I was wrestling with this thing. But as you can see, 3/4 of the way there, just gotta get the last edge over the rim. Putting your knees on this and standing on it with all your weight and bouncing up and down a few times certainly helps. Pop it into place. I got my compressor all fired up. Air hose is ready. I did want to mention that I got a bucket of soapy water, cleaned the rim inside and out. There were some spots on the bead where there's some black rubber residue. Cleaned that all off. We want this to have a nice, clean, tight seal that doesn't leak. The tire is mounted on the rim, however it is not inflated yet. When I try to inflate it, the air just runs out of it. From what I'm reading, this is because of the way they store and ship tires, plus how rigid these things are. This thing is very rigid. They just don't settle back into where they're supposed to. So one suggestion was to let this thing get nice and hot out in the sun again, as I'm finding out this would not be an easy job to do in the winter from how much you're depending on heat. So I'm going to let it warm up on each side for about 10 minutes. Wet the beads down again with Windex and give it another try with my air compressor. If that doesn't work, the next suggestion that I had was to get a ratchet strap and go all the way around the circumference of the tire with it, which kind of presses it into the beads. So, you know, various ideas people had. Hopefully I don't have to go to that point. Quickly devolved from an intelligent project to the Coyote using the Acme tire inflator system. I couldn't get the bead to seat, so one suggestion was to use a ratchet strap, and I can see where that's pressing the tire down on the bead, hopefully enough to seal it so I can inflate it. So we're going to squirt it up with Windex and give it a try. Ta-da! Well, it's Monday night, and she's all back together. I now have a match set of American Eagle tires. It was a bugger getting this thing on for the tire guy, as you saw, but it's on. It's mounted. I just took my time putting it all back, used my floor jack, and there she is, man. I'm going to suit up and take it out for a test ride. It's about 7:15 at night, and it's 80 degrees and disgusting. But I want to take this for a ride because tomorrow's going to be nice. And assuming there's no issues, I'm going to ride tomorrow. So this is my test ride, my new wheel. Everything is torqued properly. I ended up taking off the brake pad pin and sliding a brake pad out because I just couldn't seat the rotor in between the pads along with everything else that was going on. So I would definitely recommend that. Putting it on was pretty easy once I knew what I was doing. Using a mallet to smack it through. I mean, I pushed it in an inch or so through the first spacer, and then it wasn't moving. And I'm pushing on it. I'm like, wow, what's wrong? Isn't it lined up? And then I realized, no, dummy. Use a mallet. And it pushed all the way through to the other side. I had to line up that spacer, and just I had it on a jack, the floor jack, lowered it off of that, jostled it around a little, and then just a couple taps with the mallet, and that was it. It was in. So that should do it. I mean, it was, it was a fair amount of work. Even if next time I just take the wheel off and take it somewhere, which I probably will just do that right at the get-go. I can see myself doing this every year when I need a tire without too much hassle. So that was my experience. I'm sure as I do it more, it'll be faster and better at it. So if this helped anybody out, great. It passes what I call the 80 test. You take it up to 80 miles an hour and everything feels good. It's a pretty good indication that everything worked like you wanted. I better skedaddle. Got rain a coming.